Hi everybody, it's John aka Neglected, and this is my AutoBUILDography. Hopefully that works in edit. This is basically an entire breakdown of everything I've done to my 1995 Honda Accord. Although it's nothing special, I have received a lot of questions about every little thing I've done on this car, so hopefully this answers almost everything you could possibly ask about this car. Thanks to YouTube, I no longer have to shove all of this information into 1 minute and 30 seconds. So this may be a longer video, but it's hopefully gonna answer anything and everything that you've ever asked me about this car, which thank you, by the way. I really appreciate that. Thanks for liking what I made, and I'm happy to share the information. I got no problem with that, so always ask away. So let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna start off with the rear end because there's not a lot going on here, so it's pretty quick to run through. This is the SIR JDM lip. They never released the SIR trim level of this vehicle in the States, so I was lucky to find one of these. It's not fiberglass, it's actually their factory ABS plastic. It's got a part number and everything, it's really cool. It's just a nice touch for me. It's nothing too extravagant. You know, the USDM, they had like a spoiler you can get as well, which I like that one too, but I don't know, this one just complements my car better, I think, so I went with that one, and it's a cool find. This car is South Dakota plated. There's not really much to say about that. Just smog sucks, that's it. I got a Remus dual tip exhaust. That's a really cool part. Remus does not make an exhaust for this car anymore. That one was a super rare find at the junkyard. Shout out to my boy Accord Coco. He actually spotted it. It just happened to fit my car. I'd love a dual tip design. If I didn't have that, I would have gone with the MagnaFlow dual tip. I think it just fits these cars really nice. It looks good, and it's pretty cool that's a square tip, so really happy about that. I did cut the bumper. It is not a full like half cut, nothing crazy. Normally these bumpers have like a black trim underneath them. I use that as a guideline for the cuts. So with that gone, I think it looks clean. It's nothing too aggressive, but it's also kind of gives it some definition. It does also leave me space for a rear diffuser if I ever want to do that. I don't know if I will, but I like to have the option to. I have a carbon fiber gas cap. It's actually an OEM gas cap with carbon fiber laid on top of it. I found it on eBay for like 50 bucks. So I'm not gonna say no to that. That's about it. And now we're gonna talk about the side profile here. So in regards to this, nothing too crazy. For one, this is not the stock mirror. That's actually off the Acura CL Coupe, which if you guys don't know, that is the cousin car to the CD chassis. So a couple things bolt on, in particular to these mirrors. Sorry, sedan people, but this is a coupe only thing. So we can only run those because the shape of the mirror is a lot longer. So, haha. I have the PCI side skirts. Honestly, they've been awesome. I contacted PCI because looking on their website, they didn't have anything specific to my chassis. And so I took measurements of the stock skirts and I called them up, and actually the owner answered. And I was like, hey man, I'm trying to buy some skirts. I love the style, but you don't make any. Here's my measurements. Can you find me what's closest? And he was like, yeah. And he spent like 20 minutes just measuring with the measuring tape, his whole inventory, until he told me that the Civic EK side skirts are actually the ones that match that length. And I was like, sold. So I ordered them up, and honestly, yeah, it's been great ever since. Super easy. I mean, it's like 3 fittings. You take them off, you can remove the whole skirt. It's great when I need to put the car on the lift. I have no complaints. They're aluminum, they don't rust. I have beat the shit out of them. They are still in one piece. So yeah, great purchase. I'm definitely happy with them. This is cut, if you didn't know that. But basically, story behind that, I actually didn't want to do it. It was kind of forced upon me. I had a suspension failure in which it pushed my wheel back and it kind of ate up the bottom half of that fender. So then it was like a week before I need to get my car wrapped. And also I was like, damn dude, if I replace my fender, then I have to do the pull again, and I didn't want to do that. So I ended up just chopping it off, and I matched the other side and I got the wrap, and the rest is history. As far as doing anything with that, I have considered doing like those kind of inlet spats, you know, maybe talk to like a 3D printer guy, have something custom made. It'd be kind of nifty, but honestly, I miss having a full fender. It's not a bad look, I don't mind it. But I don't know, just having a full fender is kind of a preference of mine. I needed to get that done before the wrap was done because it was all jagged and bleh. I like how it's come together, so happy with it. Alrighty, so now we have come to the front of the vehicle. And in regards to what we got going on here, for starters, these are not real SIR headlights. Again, going back to that SIR trim level, they did come with black housed headlights from factory. These are just the knockoffs, but they do the job, so I'm not mad at them. The main piece is definitely gonna be the Greddy lip. This is a legitimate Greddy lip from Japan. They are not cheap, but they are also glass, man. These things are so glass, they make the WRX transmission look like a castle. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, it sucks. I've blown one of these to smithereens already, and this one makes me drive like a grandma because I don't want to do that. In order to try and mitigate this issue, I do want to make a diffuser for this car. I'm working on a chassis mounted setup right now. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm just trying to take it easy with this one because they're super fragile. It's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. Other than that, you know, it's funny. People always ask me, yo, what grill is this? What grill is, that's the stock grill, my guy. That's a 94, 95 stock grill. 96, 97 has that chrome trim around it. Yeah, that's factory. So you can go get one at the junkyard. I don't know what to tell you. Clears, that's it. Those are normally orange from factory. That's pretty much it on the front end. That's super simplistic. I want to get a carbon hood. That's one thing. I actually was going to order one, but then they were like, we can do that, but it's going to take about 6 months. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of time. So I didn't, but that's still in the works for the future. Yeah, moving on. Alrighty, so this is the interior. There's definitely a lot more to talk about in here that I've done. For starters, you always gotta have the Monte Carlo Momo steering wheel. That is my baby. I've had that wheel for so long now, I can't even remember. That is tied to the Energy quick release setup and short hub. We do have the JDI push start kit in this. Honestly, I got nothing bad to say about it. Get it, it's a good kit. It comes with a kill switch setup. It works great, so I'm really happy with it. And honestly, that's something that everyone mentions. Oh my God, it's push start. Yeah, I don't want my Honda to get stolen. I'm sorry. We do have a JSP upgraded cup holder because the stock cup holders in this car are trash. Unfortunately, they don't make one for the CD Accord. It's really hard to find a spot to fit one in the first place, so I'm not surprised. This one is for an EF Civic, if I recall. And it works great, holds a lot of weight. I have no problem with it, so happy there. Good construction, thank you JSP. I have got a Sony doubled in with Apple CarPlay in this as well. Gotta have my music, so this also has upgraded Alpine speakers all the way around. It is a factory 5-speed manual. The cluster is automatic. I know a couple people have mentioned that to me. The original cluster on this car stopped counting miles, so I had to swap it out. Originally, this car came with about 122,000 miles. I realistically probably have about 100 and close to maybe 38,000 on it as of this time of ownership. The odometer will read 155 though, and funny enough, that one just stopped counting too, so I need to get another cluster. Yay me. I actually have done the Acura CL leather conversion. So remember how I was talking about the mirrors? Well, the interior pieces also bolt on. So everything on the door cards is leather, the seat is leather, back door cards are leather as well. The only thing I didn't swap out was the dash and the cluster because I actually like this dash. I don't mind it at all. And so everything else was swapped out. And one of my favorite parts is I actually got super lucky at the junkyard and I found a set of factory Acura CL all-weather mats. So that's a really sweet piece. I don't have any back seats in this car because I actually took the skeleton of the factory seat and I made my own OEM block-off plate. That's what I've always called it. I did it on my last build too. Basically, the folding skeleton from that of the back end, I stripped off all the fabric, stripped off all the material, sanded it, painted it. And the reason why I did that instead of just getting a normal block-off plate is because that allows me to still have my flip-down capabilities because it bolts onto the frame still. So if I unlock it, I can flip it down, giving me additional storage. So it works out in my favor. I am looking for the tan Acura leather seats though. I do want to put seats back in the car. So if you have a set that match this leather, please let me know because I would love that. I have my 5-panel mirror on the car as well. Some people call it a wink mirror. Some people don't know what it is at all. I've had people be like, whoa, why does he have so many mirrors, blah, 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 blah. You know, because it's awesome. And I love being able to see everything, especially the big trucks when they blind me and burn my retinas. That especially is what I love. Oh, I swapped out the e-brake handle for a CG Coupe black e-brake handle. And then I also upgraded the little button as well. That's actually from an RX-7. I found that on eBay. It was kind of a shot in the dark. Does it thread on super well? No, but has it worked for the last year and a half? Absolutely. And lastly, of course, my Sparco Sprint L seat. Don't get it twisted, this seat is high-key uncomfortable unless you have padding. Now that I've added the padding to it, it's a great seat. I have gone long distance in it. Do I need to still get out and, you know, stretch and all that stuff? Absolutely, it's still a fixed back seat. Do I regret putting it into the car? No, I don't, not at all. This is a great seat and I have an incredible amount of confidence with the seat now, especially when hitting corners because I'm not being slung left and right. I'm very much set in place. Plans for the future on this one, I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know if I want to cage it. I don't know if I just want to put a harness bar in it. Because like I said, I do still want the back seats in the car. This car is like beautiful in between of a practical drive to the track, race all day, drive back home car, and also a car that I can just get in, go cruise, not feel uncomfortable. It's not a dedicated track car by any means. I guess that's the easy way to put it. That's my interior. Alrighty, and next up we got the engine bay. Nothing too crazy in here, just good maintenance and a couple supporting mods. For starters, the Mishimoto radiator, it's probably one of the best things I've ever done to this car. The temps, I've never seen the temps jump over mid. And honestly, in the wintertime, this is running almost too cold, but it does its job well. To complement that, I do have the Fat Fork Customs radiator support brackets, CNC, which is awesome. To match that, I do have the battery tie down, also Fat Fork Customs CNC, and lastly, the 3-point strut bar from Fat Fork Customs in this powder coated black, which is really nice. It's subtle and I just like it. I did have the valve cover powder coated in the wrinkled black, just kind of give it that OEM feel. I touched up the exhaust manifold cover, just gave that like a nice silver touch. Everything hose-wise on this is silicone for the cooling system, so that's all upgraded there. You have the AAM carb legal, you know, intake like everyone else does. Nothing too crazy, it's just been general maintenance on this car. I mean, I push the button, it starts, it goes, and it should be dead by now. I have dogged the absolute fuck out of this car, and it still just wants to keep going. And that's why it's such a good car. I love you, it's a good car. But yeah, man, I mean, it's awesome. I don't really, you know, I don't really care to touch too much as to what it is right now. I do have another engine on stand. I have talked about turboing this car, so it's not to say that won't happen. It's just a kind of when it does happen. You know what I mean? Oh, lastly, my dipstick. It is a custom CNC one-of-one dipstick that I had made years ago. It was going to be on my CB build, but I never got around to putting it in because the car was already dismantled at that point. So I put it on here, and it works, and it's pretty. We'll see what happens for 25. I have talked about maybe H-swapping this as well, because they just bolt right in. Oh, last thing too, the transmission. It's actually a JDM LSD T2 T4 transmission. That has been a lot of fun to put in the car. The gears are definitely much shorter than the stock F-Series transmission because that's out of an H. I have no complaints other than, you know, cruising at 70 going, that's my only complaint. Other than that, it performs well everywhere else. So it really does give it some pep in its step. Moving on. Next up is my wheel, tire, and brake setup. For starters, this is a true 3-piece wheel. These are Racing Heart Type Cs. Shout out to Craigers Headers. He is the guy for all those. They are 17x9 plus 18. So that's why I had to pull my fenders because they were sticking out a little wide, but I got those bad boys to fit. 245 4017. Yes, you heard that right. 245s on a damn Honda. And I have no regrets because these things are badass, dude. For one, the tire itself is a Kenda. So these are Kenda Vesda UHP Maxes. This is a 200 treadwear tire. Definitely considered a summer tire on these. But honestly, they have performed fantastically. I have no complaints. Apparently they're a big deal in the drift scene. Didn't know that, but great tires and work really good and, you know, on the mountains, so super happy. For my brakes, there is a big old caliper that says Acura on there. That is gonna be the Acura RL upgraded caliper for these vehicles. They're not Brembos, they're the other brand, but they work great. They might as well be Brembos because mated with that, the rotor themselves is actually the rotor from a 350Z Nismo edition. And so that goes alongside with my 5-lug conversion, which is off a Honda Odyssey. So you take the Honda Odyssey knuckle and basically bolt it right in. And there you go, your 5-lug. Super easy for the front end. But shout out also to Fat Fork Customs for making the bracket that actually fits that big brake kit. Honestly, it's too much. It's too much brake for this small ass car. That brake is supposed to be on a car that is 2,000 pounds heavier than this car. You don't need it, you really don't. Does it look great though? Yes, and that's exactly why I have it. And I mean, for what it's worth, yeah, the stopping power obviously is amazing. You know, it's 2,000 pounds lighter. Of course it's gonna be better, but you don't need it, so don't let people fool you. I'm really happy with this wheel and tire setup. I had them powder coated to this gunmetal gray. They were fully rebuilt as well, resealed, so they've been holding up ever since. Is it a track wheel? No, they're heavy as shit, and you are much better off running some RPF ones, but they are cool, so that's why I'm running them. I love them, dude, they're sick, and I think they go well with the actual color and everything in between, and then also with these caps too. Another shout out to Craigers Headers. He actually makes remanufactured caps because they are hard to find, but these are of his own design and they came out great. And I got a powder coated to match as well. Left this little thing right here to match that little thing right there. And yeah, I'm really happy with the setup. As far as the caliper is concerned, it is still the OEM color. It's kind of grayish. I want to actually get them powder coated to be like a Nardo gray. I think the Nardo gray would look great with the red. I mean, yeah, you could do red as well, but I don't know, just too much red there. I don't need all that. I think the Nardo gray would look sick, kind of blends it in real nice, and it complements the rest of the setup. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. Alrighty, and for the rear end setup, nothing too crazy, just kind of want to break down how it's pieced together, because this car is a little bit of a Lego set. It is 5-lug converted. It is a Prelude hub, and that is mated with an Integra Type R rotor. By using that combo, I'm still able to use the stock caliper that comes with the vehicle. And to hold that all together, it's a Mazda 323 axle nut because it has a little built-in ring on it, so it makes for light work. That simple setup, honestly, is probably the easiest thing to piece together for this. Like the fronts, for example, those rotors actually do have to be milled out in the center to fit over that setup. So I buy them specifically from Fat Fork Customs. But these you can just get off Rock Auto. They just kind of just boop, boop, boop all together. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's talk suspension. Now, on this vehicle, I have full adjustable upper control arms from Megan. I have the Function and Form Type 2 coilovers. They do have upgraded Swift springs. They're 18K stiff. It's a little bit too stiff than what I need, but they were on my old setup, you know, and it fits. So I've got used to them. I've run them. I've done everything with them. They work. Would I have softer springs? Yeah, I would. But for right now, I'm happy with what I got. For the rears, I do have fully adjustable Megan control arms as well, including the adjustable tow arm and adjustable lower control arm. And then for front and rear, I do have the ST sway bars. Huge, huge upgrade, by the way. If you're doubting buying them, totally buy them. Oh my God. Like, I don't know the science behind it, but for what it's worth, I know what feels good and what drives even better. And my car drives way better with those sway bars upgraded. So super happy with that purchase. There's nothing too crazy as far as suspension. If I have any plans in the future, I actually do want to swap over to a set of BC Racing coilovers for the vehicle. Other than that, just do kind of like a full refresh on it. I think I hear a wheel bearing going out too, so got to get that replaced here soon. Pretty simple setup, but super effective, especially with having everything as adjustable as can be. And a big thank you to Cali Custom Alignments for always getting me right. Those guys are awesome, and so they're the ones that I trust with this vehicle, and it's worked out great. And that is everything. That's all I've ever done to this car so far in the year of 2024. 2025 is here now, and so hopefully this car gets stepped up into that next level. That's what I'm really excited for. So I'm gonna continue to work on it little by little and make it into something even more awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting the build and supporting me. Thank you guys for asking questions. I promise you I don't know everything, but what I do know is what I'm happy to share. And so if you guys have any additional questions, let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.